Have you ever wondered how an extremist party such as the Nazis could rise to power in a sophisticated society like Germany? A perplexing question that's haunted historians for decades. Our journey today takes us back in time to unravel the complex series of events that led to the rise of the Nazi Party. We'll delve into the aftermath of the First World War, the emergence of Adolf Hitler, and the shocking ascendancy of the Nazis. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of this dark chapter in human history. The story begins at the end of the First World War. A conflict of such devastating magnitude, it left Europe in ruins and changed the face of the world forever. At the heart of this transformation was the Treaty of Versailles, a peace agreement signed in June 1919, which sought to draw a line under the war and pave the way for a new era. But for Germany, the treaty represented a bitter pill to swallow. It was burdened with the War Guilt Clause, a stipulation that placed the blame for the entire conflict squarely on its shoulders. This not only wounded national pride, but also had severe financial implications. Germany was required to pay huge sums in reparations, crippling an economy already battered by war. Territorial adjustments were another blow to the German psyche. The loss of significant territories, including Alsace-Lorraine to France and Upper Silesia to Poland, further added to the sense of national humiliation. In the midst of this turmoil, the Weimar Republic was born, a democratic government struggling to gain its footing in a country reeling from defeat. But the Weimar Republic was plagued by political instability from its inception. It was a period marked by frequent changes in government, economic crises, and social unrest. Hyperinflation hit in the early 20s, turning the German mark worthless and life savings into nothing overnight. To add to these woes, the Great Depression of the late 20s decimated economies worldwide, hitting Germany particularly hard. This was a time of deep discontent and despair. The German people felt betrayed by their leaders and by the international community. Their pride was wounded, their pockets empty, and their faith in democracy shaken. Amid this turmoil, the seeds of extremism found fertile soil. The stage was set for figures who promised a return to national glory, who could channel the widespread anger and disillusionment into a potent political force. These factors created an atmosphere of discontent and despair, a perfect breeding ground for extremist ideologies. In this backdrop of chaos and confusion, a charismatic speaker named Adolf Hitler emerged. Born in Austria in 1889, Hitler's early life was far from illustrious. His dreams of becoming an artist were thwarted by a strict father, and he found himself living a life of vagrancy in Vienna. However, it was during these tough times that Hitler developed his radical ideologies. When the Great War broke out, Hitler enlisted in the German army, where he was decorated for bravery. His time in the army shaped his perception of German nationalism, and he began to envision a Germany that was united, strong, and racially pure. After the war, he returned to a defeated and demoralized Germany, further fueling his political aspirations. In 1919, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, a small political group that shared his nationalist and anti-Semitic views. It was here that Hitler began to hone his skills as an orator, captivating audiences with his fiery speeches. His charisma, combined with a talent for propagating his radical ideologies, quickly propelled him to the forefront of the party, which was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or more infamously known as the Nazi Party. Hitler's speeches tapped into the disillusionment and anger felt by many Germans in the aftermath of the First World War. He blamed Germany's plight on the Treaty of Versailles, the incompetence of the Weimar Republic, and a global conspiracy of Jews. His promise of a strong, united and prosperous Germany resonated with many Germans who were desperate for change. By 1921, Hitler had taken control of the Nazi Party. His influence grew, and so did the party's membership, from a few hundred to thousands. He became a beacon of hope for many Germans, offering a vision of a future that was as appealing as it was dangerous. Hitler's promise of a strong, united and prosperous Germany resonated with many Germans who were desperate for change. By 1933, the Nazi Party had become the largest party in the German parliament. The rise of the Nazi Party was an event of monumental consequence, a testament to political maneuvering, strategic opportunism, and the exploitation of national discontent. The seeds of this ascendancy were sown in the chaotic landscape of post-World War I Germany, but it was in the 30s that they truly began to bear fruit. Adolf Hitler, a charismatic figure who had emerged from the tumult of the 20s, stood at the helm of this rising tide. His appointment as Chancellor in 1933 marked a turning point in German politics and history. This appointment didn't happen overnight, though. It was the result of intense political wheeling and dealing, which saw the Nazis align with the German National People's Party. In a bid to control and counterbalance Hitler, President Hindenburg and his advisors believed they could manipulate him by offering the chancellorship. Little did they know, they were only setting the stage for their own downfall. Once in power, Hitler wasted no time in consolidating his position. The Enabling Act of 1933 was a key move in this direction. Following the infamous Reichstag fire, Hitler and the Nazis manipulated the crisis to pass this act. It essentially gave Hitler dictatorial powers, allowing him to enact laws without the need for parliamentary consent. It was a masterstroke of manipulation, as the act effectively sidestepped the democratic processes of the Weimar Republic, allowing Hitler to rule by decree. But Hitler's consolidation of power didn't stop there. The Night of the Long Knives in June 1934 was another crucial event in the Nazis' rise. Ostensibly a purge of potential dissidents within the Nazi Party, it was, in reality, a brutal and bloody consolidation of power. Hitler eliminated his potential rivals, including Ernst Röhm, the leader of the powerful paramilitary SA. This move not only solidified Hitler's control over the Nazi Party, but also won him the loyalty of the German army, which had been wary of Röhm and his plans for the SA. These events, orchestrated with ruthless efficiency, transformed Hitler from a chancellor held in check by a coalition government to an absolute dictator. The Reichstag, once a beacon of democratic governance, was reduced to a rubber stamp assembly, and the Weimar Republic was effectively dismantled. By 1934, Hitler had become the Führer, the absolute leader of Germany. His rise to power was complete, but the true cost of this ascendancy the world would only realize in the years to come. The Nazi Party's rise to power is a chilling testament to how a democratic system can be subverted and democracy itself can be its own undoing when manipulated by those with nefarious intent. The rise of the Nazi Party is a stark reminder of the dangers of extremism and the manipulation of public sentiment. As we traverse the corridors of history, we find ourselves at the aftermath of the First World War. A war-torn Germany, crippled by the Treaty of Versailles, was a fertile ground for resentment and radical ideologies. The nation was in dire straits, and it was within this chaos and discontent that the seeds of the Nazi Party were sown. The emergence of Adolf Hitler, an obscure soldier turned charismatic leader, marked a significant turning point. Hitler's potent mix of fiery rhetoric, propaganda and scapegoating resonated with a people desperate for change and revenge. His ability to leverage the prevailing sentiments to consolidate power is a chilling illustration of how easily a society can be led astray. The rise of the Nazi Party to power was neither instantaneous nor inevitable. It was a gradual ascent marked by strategic alliances, manipulation of the democratic process, and the exploitation of crises. The Enabling Act of 1933, for instance, effectively dismantled the democratic structures of the Weimar Republic, paving the way for Hitler's dictatorship. Yet it's crucial to remember that this rise to power was facilitated not just by the actions of a few, but by the inaction of many. A society's collective failure to challenge bigotry and hate, to safeguard democratic institutions, and to resist the allure of easy answers to complex problems can have devastating consequences. This chapter of history serves as a potent reminder of the importance of historical awareness. History, in its essence, is not just the study of the past, but a guide for the present and the future. It teaches us to be wary of those who exploit fear and division for their gain. It cautions us against complacency in the face of threats to our freedoms and democratic values. The rise and fall of the Nazi Party is a testament to the resilience of humanity, and yet it is also a warning. It is a warning that the forces of hate and extremism can rise from the ashes of despair, and that they can only be countered with vigilance, courage, and a steadfast commitment to the principles of justice and equality. As we remember this dark chapter of history, we must strive to ensure that such horrors are never repeated.